Hey guys, Dieter Melhorn here. How y'all doing? Out on the water on a lovely, lovely evening. Doing a little trolling, doing a little dragging baits, whatever you want to call it in your part of the country. Got some new monster rod holders on the boat, and I spent part of the day working on those, getting them set up. Let me get my battery plugged in because this thing is dying fast, so bear with me. You hate when stuff like this happens. You tune in, you want to be excited about what's going on. Bear with me, plugging in the battery. Anyway, got some new monster rod holders in. The red, white, and blue version. Let me get this thing going so it doesn't die midstream. Bam! There we go. That's better. It's working again. And that's what they look like. They're pretty cool. Red, white, and blue. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. This thing around here. Yeah, Steve Douglas put some up the other day online. He had some different color combinations. I've been trying to get him to make pink for a long time, and he won't make me any pink ones. I don't know why. I wanted pink rod holders. I think they'll sell. I think the ladies will go for them. But no, he put some rod holders up. Had some different colors, and I said, dude, red, white, and blue. Make America great again. I want those. God bless America. So anyway, I got them on here. Got rid of my rocket launchers. Was trying out my new configuration. I played around with them. Had them about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And just now getting a chance to get them on. I got a rod hung. I think I do. Let me deal with this hung rod here real quick. Bear with me. Good little crowd of people. Welcome. The joys of dragging bait. See where we're at here. Get us unhung. Doing some dragging. I'm in about 38 feet of water, right on the channel ledge. And I've already got one hung. It's off to a great start. Oh, there it came. Alright, I'm back. Anyway, part of the deal of getting these rod holders on here is kind of figuring out the arrangement. It's different for everybody depending on. You didn't miss anything, Muddy River, except my new rod holders. If you look in the background, red, white, and blue, baby. Red, white, and blue. But yeah, it's depending on your type of fishing. Let me get this thing pointed back up here. Here we go. Depending on your type of fishing, it's just everybody's got different setups. I kind of fish the back half of my boat because a lot of times I'm dragging. Even when I'm not dragging, I like a configuration to where I can have everything in the back half. Have all my rods. Some people like them all up and down the sides. That's cool. I'm actually going to take some of these rod bases and put them on the front. One of the things when you get in rough water dragging, anything that's got a lot of waves and chop, it's a lot safer to drag backwards so that your bow's into the waves and into the wind. You're less likely to swamp the boat, take water into the back of the boat over the transom, and into the power head on your motor. So I'm gonna have that set up as an option, kind of a little backup plan. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing, just out dragging them around. So far so good. I had 2 of them on the boat, and I think Steve felt sorry for me, and he wanted me to, he said those things were so old. He said it was probably the first ones he made, and he wanted me to send them back to him so he could put them in the Smithsonian Institution. That's how old they are. But I got some new ones, pretty cool colors, and anyway, bring you up to date. I'm out on Lake Wylie. Dragging baits, I don't know, mid-lake. Trying the river channel first, and gonna work my way up into the mouth of a creek here, kind of coming down the ledge as we speak. I got me some brim and Lake Wylie, somebody just asked, and yeah, got some brim and just dragging them, relaxing a little bit tonight. Was gonna go first thing this morning. There's something boiling up right there on top. That could be white perch, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on. Yeah, Larry Grady says I should be getting deer stands ready. Dude, there are people in the lower part of South Carolina right now that are sitting in a deer stand as we speak. You can start hunting in parts of South Carolina on August 15th. I don't care if I lived on the coast. There's no way I would be in a deer stand when it's 90 degrees. I have no desire whatsoever. I have no desire. Matter of fact, I was supposed to be going down to my hunt club tomorrow, taking the tractor down to do some work, and I'm not in the deer hunting mood. Not yet. It's got to get cold, man. I need that cold morning. I need that first morning. I need to put that hoodie on. That'll get the spark going. But yeah, I got no desire to do it when it's this hot. So it's tough. Hopefully you guys tuned in to the Eclipse Freak Show. Matter of fact, I need to put a piece of tape across that. The finger is about healed up from where the fish chomped into it. I've got both versions are on, both of the live deals. We take a break. We're on during the Eclipse, and I cut the one that I shot today. I'm gonna put up probably Friday. It's an edited version, a little less BS, but still it's pretty cool. It was my experience of the summer, without a doubt. It was if you guys didn't get to experience the Eclipse where you were, we were on Santee Cooper, dead in the middle of total coverage, and as I said in the video, I just sound stupid because it's that awe-inspiring. It's funny if you have watched the live one, you hear me say, I put some little subtitles in the edited one. It's like, all right, beware, I'm going to say some stupid stuff. I think my favorite one was, I told Grayson, don't look at the sun with your normal eyes. I don't know what the abnormal eyes are, but I said that. And there was something else really stupid. I said, oh, I'm looking up at the eclipse because where we were at, we had a little bit of cloud cover, and it was really perfect. There was just enough of a haze that you could look up at. But anyway, I'm looking up at it. My wife said, don't look at it without your glasses. I said, I've got my sunglasses on. And she goes, no, you don't. And I go, okay, yeah, I don't have them on. So that was another stupid. You'll get to see all this in the video, the edited version. But yeah, we were lucky where we were at. There was a little bit of haze came across it, and it was just enough that you could look up, you could see it fine. It was not bright. As a matter of fact, you could not see it with the glasses. It had dimmed that much, but it was perfect. I've seen no picture that can capture that. The thing looking at it through the glasses, you got a bright spot in the center, everything else is black. What we were able to see was just magnificent because in relationship to the sky and the clouds and all, you could see it. It was really cool. The other thing we had cool, if you watched any of the live stuff from the eclipse, is we had thunderstorms that were pushing us off the lake. And we ran part of the way back. We could look at the radar and tell they were staying off the lake, but in the background, we've got lightning going off. So it was perfect in that there was the storms were just far enough off the edge. We could still see the eclipse. We had a wall of lightning stuff going off, and it was just freaking spectacular. So, highlight of my summer, coolest thing. It's a weird light if you didn't get to experience it. It's shadows. If you know anything about photography, lighting, the shadows start to open up, and what that means is the shadows aren't as dark, aren't as contrasty, and and then it gets this weird. It's just a weird light. So spectacular event. So, and we caught fish. The other thing that was interesting, everybody's wondering about the fishing. We got out there about 30 or 45. I don't know. No, we were longer down. I think we got there an hour and a half before it was supposed to start. We had been drifting for 45 or 50 minutes and hadn't caught any fish. We're just goofing around. I've got my son, my wife, and our little tater bug, the 3-year-old, on there. And I said, well, let me see where the eclipse is. And I put on the glasses and I look up and I was like, little pinch. It's just started. And I said, oh, it started. The eclipse started. And I turned around and poof, a rod's folded over. And little Tater, the 3-year-old's never been on a boat. She climbs on it in the driveway. And so she had no clue. Our biggest concern with her is she just knows no fear. And you put a life jacket on her and she jumps off of docks and into the pool and off. She jumped off a building one time. She's just crazy child. But anyway, she stayed in the boat and she got to catch her first fish, a catfish, and I was trying to hold it a funky way to get a picture, and when it flipped, that's when it sliced me open. The edited video has all of it in there and the chaos that ensued. because I don't think we had any of that. We weren't live then. That was before we went live. So you'll get to see all that. I'll put that one up Friday so you can watch it and see more of the goofball festivities. The other thing that was amazing about Tater, the 3-year-old, and I'll have a picture of it. I'm going to put it in my blog probably. Whenever I get a kid on the boat, I always, they're always wanting to play with the bait. And the live ones are the cut up with ones. They take a knife and move it around and play with it. I always make the joke, you can eat some of the bait if you want to. Well, she's back here and we turn around and her hand's up to her mouth. She has taken, I don't fish with the tails off the blueback herring, had taken one of the tails and was eating the meat off of the herring. I'm serious, a heart attack. Santee sushi is what I'm calling it now. And literally ate it and then started crying when we took it away from her. And then snuck back over and found another one later and started eating it. So she became, with that, an honorary first mate on the boat. Anybody that eats bait on my boat becomes first mate status. Boom, straight to the top. So Sea School will not give you that option. You get that status with me. If you'll eat bait, I got respect for you. Let me dim my sonar down. But that was kind of our deal. It was fun. We started catching fish with that one. Never caught any big ones, but we caught like eight or nine fish in 3 hours, which is a good bite. It's a good bite. And I heard it from some other people that, the bite picked up, which if you believe any of the Solunar stuff, when you got the sun and the moon lined up, you've got the maximum gravitational pull, so that should make it a good bite, which it was. So anyway, that's cool. Somebody chimed in, Steven said, I'm flathead fishing on the Wisconsin River while watching this. That's cool, brother. Isn't it amazing technology that we're able to do this? That one, you're able to watch it, and two, I'm able to actually do it from out here on a lake. It's really, really cool. Can't do it everywhere. We're really lucky and blessed where I live that I've got good cell service where I'm at, and can hit it. I fished a couple weeks ago with Chad Bailey down at Size Matters Guide Service, Size Matters Fishing down. He's in the Panhandle of Florida, and I was going to try to go live, but we really did not have good cell service where we were at. He had a guide party and was nice enough to let me go out with him and just watch and hang out. I was down there for a family funeral, and it was cool. Got to go out and see how they do it down there in the Panhandle, which is a different world from what we fish. It's a bunch of remote rivers that aren't super huge, but they got current struggling through them. They're current like Chris out at Muddy River Catfishing has, but they're a little bit bigger. And went flathead hunting, picked off a couple of blues, no flatheads, but I'll tell you what, I know every hole he has because he worked his butt off trying to find fish, and there was nothing slacking about anything he did, so I give him credit. So yeah, Size Matters Fishing down there in Florida. If you're ever down there, jump on the boat with him. Good guy. We've got family down there, so I'll probably go out with them again. And yeah, it's good. It's just good low country living. I mean, that's the part of Florida, everybody thinks of Florida, Disney World, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West, but that's the country into Florida, man, and it's guys working hard down there. Bring everybody up to date. If you just joined in, if you don't know me, I'm Dieter Melhorn. That's why it's called Dieter Melhorn Fishing. I say my name every now and then, it's just because people don't know how to pronounce it, so it's Dieter. It's the German name. Say it with a redneck accent, and you'll be good. Somebody's up bouncing. I'm out dragging some baits around on Lake Wylie, trying out my new monster rod holders, which you can see right down there over my shoulder. Steve Douglas came out with some red, white, and blue ones and some other colors, and I said, dude, red, white, and blue, I want some of those. I've kind of reconfigured the way I was doing some rod holder stuff. If you've seen my videos before, I had some old monster rod holders on here, and I think Steve felt sorry for me because they were so old, but they're actually still good. I'm still going to use them on the front configuration of the boat. But he had these red, white, and blue ones, which you can see right there. Look at that. I feel like the weatherman pointing at the weather. Yeah, I put them on today. That's the only downside. Package showed up. I was very happy. And then I figured I gotta go drill and measure the screws and all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't real happy. So, but I think I got them where I want them. That's kind of why I'm out here tonight, is seeing if I've got them in the right place and we've got the angles right. I'm trying it dragging first, and then I'm gonna try doing some anchoring up and see how they look there. So I'm playing with the little wheel on my steering wheel. Sorry. Great turnout tonight though. 48 people. That's really awesome, guys. Thanks for jumping in. I always appreciate when you guys take some time to sit around and watch this while you're watching TV or eating dinner or whatever it is you're doing. It's very cool. Appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. I'm trying to give you some entertaining fishing stuff and a little bit of information and knowledge. Oh, by the way, the where's it at? I think I still got them laying up here. The official rattle count. Hooker's terminal tackle. The rattles, it's 60-40. Added the numbers up the other day, and we're at 60-40. 60% being on the rattles. Now, most of the fishing I have done has been at night, so that may play a part. I don't know. This is when I test stuff like this, I do it over a long period of time, so definitely doesn't hurt anything to have them. These are very cool. I'm gonna do a little video. I may do one tomorrow. I don't know. And show you how I rig these things up and how they work and how I get them to bounce. But yeah, that's what they look like. Line rattles, Hooker's terminal tackle. You can go to our website and order them. And I heard he has some glow-in-the-dark ones, which I think would be really cool. I know some of the guys that fish for swordfish, and they fish in deep water. They use like illuminated baits and stuff at night. So be curious if it makes a difference. I thought I heard something. Sorry. Yeah, that's that count continues. So yeah, that's what those things are. Pretty neat little product. I drop them in the floor. People wondering about water temperature here. It's right around 90 degrees where we're at. I'm dragging through here using a trolling motor. There's virtually no wind out here. I'm using a trolling motor to move the boat about a half a mile an hour, 0.5. Just working this channel there. I'm actually in the channel now. And I'm not seeing a lot. It looks like there's some plankton bloom, and I'll show you what we're looking at here. Boom. It's kind of what we're doing. I came down this edge here, and I'm out into the channel. What I'm going to do is work my way back up to this edge here, cut down it, and this little point that kind of goes up as it comes into this creek. So come around through that, up and through there, and you can see this plankton bloom still going on. This stuff was down here when I first got here. As it gets darker, it starts rising up. No fish underneath it, which is pretty much the normal. We're getting less and less of that, luckily, right now. But our water temperatures are still pretty warm. We got some warm water out here, so it's still warm. We still haven't got any real breaks, so it's going to stay that way for a while. What I'm going to do here, if you'll bear with me for just a second. By the way, thanks everybody for joining in. A lot of people on here, 51 people. That's really awesome. Let me grab a light just because it's going to get dark here. This is like the eclipse, except it's not the eclipse. Well, it kind of is an eclipse. The Earth is between me and the sun, so it's kind of an eclipse. But it's pretty much a unanimous decision that I will not be starting a YouTube comedy channel because I'm really not that funny. Oh, that was bright. All right, let's that turn down a little bit. There we go. It's a little light, just to illuminate the wrinkles there. Daniel asks, when do I expect the fishing on Wylie to get better? I'll be honest with you, it's not that bad right now. Or at least it wasn't. I hadn't been out here a week and a half, 2 weeks. And it was pretty good when I left. I had a 22 fish day in about 5 hours, 6 hours, which was excellent bite. And so it's not that bad. As far as consistent big fish, as far as me taking a bet on I'll catch a 20 plus pounder every other trip or every trip, that's going to be November. The flathead bite's going to start to get really good in October. Once those water temperatures start dropping down into the 70s, it's going to get really good. There will be a lot of flatheads starting to school up and stack up, and you'll be able to catch a bunch of them. So bottom line, it's not bad fishing right now. It's just the bigger fish, you still catch them. You'll still catch big fish. It's just you're not seeing as many, you know, teeners, 20s, 30s, that kind of thing. So that happens with the cooler weather. When that water is the 50 to 60 degree range, that is actually primo time. And it stays that way until, you know, it'll start to die off some. Once it gets down into the 40s, you won't see as many fish, especially channel catfish. Channel catfish, their metabolism really slows down with colder water, so which is why they grow so big in the colder water areas like the Red River and stuff. Somebody asked what bait I was using. Brim. I stopped and caught some brim. Nothing fancy. I forgot to put the net on the boat. I should have put the net on the boat. So I still had some red worms. I still had some bait from the Santee trip that's been in my live well on here. What I do at the house, I've got a huge 130, 40 gallon bait tank that I can put fish into. But a lot of times if I'm going fishing and I know I'm going, I just leave my bait in my live well on the boat, and I've got a little aquarium aerator with an aerating stone. Plug it in, drop it in there, and it works just fine. As a matter of fact, I need to turn that on to flush them out. Once you catch brim and have them in your tank, you kind of need to circulate water for the first little part, because they'll start pooping all in your tank, and you'll get a bunch of brown stuff and a bunch of stuff in there. Once you get all that cycled out, that's why it's nice to catch them at the beginning of the day when you're fishing, because you give them a chance to do that and get fresh water on them. They'll be fine in there. Just keep them aerated. So, well, let's see. There was another question. Do you have any monster woodbine blue rod? Steve Douglas is in the house. What's up, Steve? How you doing, pal? Shirt fits. The only bad thing is the hat was lost to Grayson. So you will see Grayson leading the monster rod holder. He will be the hat. He snagged the hat before I could even get it out of the box. So you're out of luck there. So he'll be carrying the torch there. First man in America to have red and blue rod holders. They look good. You can see them over the corner. The rod holders show up a lot better than the Big Cat Fever rods do. They do, because there's white on those rod holders. I love my Big Cat Fever rods. I got them back here. I'm waiting. I'm going to get a message one day. It's going to come in the middle of the night. It's going to say, Dieter, we have Big Cat Fever rods in white. It'll be a happy day. But no, the rod holders are cool. They're working great. I texted Steve today and said, you're making me go outside in the heat and the hot to put these things on the boat. So anyway, I got them on. Happy to have them. Configuration looks good. I'm going to do another daylight video and show kind of the way I've got them set up on my boat. Like I was telling some people earlier, everybody rigs their boat up different. I'm not a big rod rack guy. I don't like the rod rack across the boat, which, by the way, I seen one of Steve's rod racks when I was in Florida, and it's pretty bad. If I was going to put a rod rack on my boat, and if you want a rod rack, that was a pretty bad rod rack. I like that thing. That was cool. But I'm not a big rod rack guy because I'm a bad fisherman, and I end up having to get fish out of the motor and everything half the time. So I like going out the back of the boat and having access out the back. Not to mention, with the way my boat is, I've got 3 different hatches back there, live well and stuff, which the rack that Steve has that I seen actually would work on actually was on a boat just like mine. So it works on there. But everybody's different. Everybody's got a different configuration. Like I was saying earlier, some people like running rods up and down the side, especially if they anchor in still water and are fan casting out around the boat. I've got mine. I like mine here in the back half of the boat. That's kind of my action zone. That up there is for stuff and junk and stuff, fiddling to get the anchors and all that. So I kind of keep that kind of open. It's just the way I do it. It's not the right way. It's not the only way. Everybody does it different. And the cool thing about these rods, they configure. It looks like they can configure to about any kind of boat. I was looking at stuff on the website, and he's got stuff for rail mounts and for, you know, mounting it. I got the square bases that mount mine flush on top of the gunnel of the boat, and you know, all kinds of different combinations to make it work. And there's even a little 3-holder thing on there where you can put 3 of them up and like a different angle. And I started to do that, but I think this works better for what I'm doing. But yeah, everybody rigs stuff up different, and that's kind of what I'm doing tonight. Is just giving us a dry run to see how it works, how this setup is, how it works for dragging. So far, it's good. I wanted to be able to, basically, when I drag, I usually fish 6 rods, and I've got the option with the way I've got it set up that I can actually drag with 8 of them if I need to, if I want to put out 4 planter boards and 4 at the back. So this looks like this is going to work fine, and I think this is going to work great anchored up too. I'm going to take some of them and rig the boat up so I can fish off the front of it when I'm in, like I was saying earlier, in some heavy water, steep waves, that kind of stuff when you get out. And this is something, in case you guys didn't hear it, depending, especially fishing a smaller boat, when you get into rough water, the other night on Santee, we started to go out, and it was kind of steep stuff. Not bad, but if I would have put a drift sock out the back of the boat, it would have taken 2 drift socks that day to slow the boat down enough to where I wanted to be. And at that point, if the waves are steep, especially where I was at near the canal where there's current, your waves are steep, your transom's going to get sucked down because you're basically anchoring the boat off the back. That's what you're doing with a drift sock. And it's not stationary, but it is anchored, and it'll pull it down, and you're much better off, point being, in rough water, steep waves, putting the bow into the waves. And if you're drifting, dragging, like we do, we're dragging in a place without current. This is not for you guys who are fishing the big rivers, or you're drifting these reservoirs and stuff. If it's bad, you need to have that bow into it because it's designed to ride up and down with it and take the waves. So I'm going to rig it up so I can do that. I've been fishing out the back for years, and I hadn't sunk one yet, but I kind of know when to go home too. So I'm going to re-rig that. By the way, thanks for everybody for joining in. 51 people in here. That's awesome. Awesome. I'm glad y'all. I found that these things work really well in the evening. There's a good turnout, and I know why. I know people are just like me. When Catfish Weekly comes on Monday night, I'm sitting there watching it. And matter of fact, we were driving back from Santee, and I'm getting the laptop out, and we're going down the road. I got my wife and the Rugrats, and we're going down the road. I'm getting the laptop out. I'm plugging it into the power thing. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, we're going to watch Catfish Weekly going down the road." I said, "You're going to have the laptop. We're going to watch it. You're going to respond. I can't type while I'm driving." So she was typing in comments, and we were listening to it and laughing and having a good time. It was really cool. I should have shot video of it. It was really cool. Yeah, Catfish Weekly, in case y'all don't know, Monday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern. They always say 7 o'clock Central, but it's 8 o'clock Eastern. So, but great show, great group of guys, and great group of guys. I'm losing letters. Great group of guys, and it's always some good stuff on there. So anyway, that's cool. Still have a proper mounting for the rod holders. Yeah, somebody just said that Steve has a whole video for proper mounting. I didn't watch it. I just started drilling and putting stuff up. No, Steve's got a video on everything. He tried to get me to shoot a video on how to install the rod holders, and I was like, no, that's too much like work. This is already going to be work out there in the sun and the heat. I said, I don't want any more work. So they're pretty easy to put on. The biggest thing is, as they say in the world of building and carpentry, Chris Flores probably knows this, measure twice, cut once. And on this deal, it's measure twice, drill once. And that's the thing. Take your time, measure it. I actually did that this time and laid them out, put them where I wanted them. Got Grayson out there with me to make sure, because I've got kind of a little combination of stuff back here with some other vertical rod holders that I use running up and down the road and down the river. And so it's kind of getting stuff around that. And I think I made it work. Usually I'm not that methodical on doing stuff, but I guess in my old age, I'm getting better at it. So anyway, let's see if we got any more questions in there. There was a couple of them in here, and I was kind of jacking my jaws on a whole bunch of stuff. Somebody said they had a removable rod rack for a bass tracker. And yeah, I've seen some guys with removable stuff. I'd actually thought about doing it. I've got 2 flush mounted rod holders in the deck, my rear deck on my Carolina skid. And I actually could have configured something and built something to go in there. But like I said, it's just my way of doing things. Everybody's is different, and this is what works for me. And I'll put a video together and show you how I do it at some point when it's daylight. And yeah, that's what I always tell people. Take little nuggets of information from different people, put it together into something that you can use, and something that'll, work for your situation, because everybody's got different scenarios and different things they're doing, different ways they're fishing. That was the thing with fishing with Chad down there on Down in Florida, that was, that's a different world of fishing, a different way of fishing. They, they're from the world of heavy braid and a lighter leader because they are, fishing in a lot of brush and stuff like that. So, we don't, we fish that way sort of, but we don't have the brush and stuff that they do, and the way they're fishing and setting up on it. So the other thing they do that I've seen Chris Flores do is the clipping onto the bushes with the bush clips. I've got to get one of those. There are not too many opportunities to do that, but there are a few places where I think that would be really cool. So I got to get me one of those gripper things. It's almost like pliers with facing in teeth, and you can clip it on the branches and limbs and all that. The one downside to that is it's a real good way to get a snake in the boat too. So that's the only downside. So just be ready for a fight. We don't have water moccasins here, but they got them down on Santee, and I've heard rumors of them being on Wateree, but I've never seen one. So, but we got the northern and the banded water snakes, and they're non-poisonous. They're not venomous, but they're mean. They're just mean. They will snap at you and coil up and everything else. So they're just mean. So far, no fish for those of you who tuned in late. And by the way, thank you everybody for coming in. See what I'm doing. Let me get this over to a full chart shot. That way you can kind of see what I'm doing. I got some real good feedback from you guys that you like seeing on the screen what I was doing. And, looking back on it, yeah, it's a great way to show stuff what's going on here. So obviously that's the boat position right there where the arrow is. I've fished here before. I've had a 53 pounder here, a 15 pounder here on this ledge. But anyway, I came back out of this stuff where there was no fish, and I'm back up onto that ledge now. And I'm just coming down that ledge. I'm just going to drag the baits right down through here. Come right out around this point up here. That's where my son, if you look real close, there's a 30F. That's a 30-pound flathead. That's where he caught his personal best flathead a few weeks ago on one feeds in there. If you go back and see that one, that's where he plucked it out at. We were coming out of the creek that day. So that's kind of what's going on. I've got brim on for bait, and like I was saying earlier, this is really a trial run of the monster rod holders that I got, and I got those on the boat and configured up, and just seeing how they work with what I'm doing. Move that there that way. Typically what I do is I will run 2 or 4 rods straight onto the bottom, and then 2 or 4 planer boards. I've got 2 planer boards out tonight and 4 rods out. What I wanted to do, and what I do is I put a rod on the corner of my boat, and then I put 2 sticking straight out the side. So they're basically 7 feet off the boat on both sides. And then I've got the planer boards out further than that. So what it's doing is it's giving you a very wide spread when you're dragging baits down through here. You're covering a bigger area in the water, and in theory, a better chance of catching fish. Speaking of fish and planer boards and bites, let me see how. Seeing if, I think that might have been bumping on something. Thought we might have had a fish, but we didn't. But if you came in late, make sure you check out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, which I suggest you do, that way you can stay up to date and get notified on this stuff. Check out the channel on Friday. I'm gonna put up the edited video on Friday from the stuff up in the eclipse on Monday. So. It's a little more behind the scenes. We went live and had a video up during the middle of it and one right before it. So there's the live ones that are already up, which apologize for the signal. It's a crappy picture, crappy quality. The one that's gonna be up Friday is a lot better. Some behind the scenes stuff that we got when we hadn't went live yet. You get to see me get finned. So I got sliced open. I got the serrated edge of the channel cat, and you get to see some of the goofiness and stupid stuff that I inevitably say. So look for that one on Friday. What was there? Was somebody said some. Somebody said I figured I'd be up in Bristol filming NASCAR or the Street Outlaw Boys at Bristol. I was in Bristol for a week. That's why you have not seen me. I've been up there since I was up there last week and did the truck race, the Xfinity race, and the Monster Energy race. It was a long week. I thought I was going to get a day off in between and was going to try to go fishing with somebody up there. Had some people I was going to hit up that have told me to hit them up, and that didn't happen. We ended up having to go into the track to shoot some stuff for about 4 hours dead in the middle of the day, just long enough to screw everything up. So anyway, that's why there was not a lot of videos and stuff up last week. You didn't see that much from me. And actually on Sunday, we got up Sunday morning, drove the 3 hours back to Charlotte, hooked up the boat, loaded up the family, loaded up the clothes, loaded up some food, and we took off to Santee. And we're actually on the water down there Sunday evening, trying to catch some bait and just goofing around a little bit. So Sunday was a haul. It was a grind. It was pretty tough. So long day, and I'm not getting a break yet. So I'm out here trying to catch fish. I don't call this a break. This is hard work. This is tough. This is really tough. Well, there's a question here. Catch any fish yet? Put some Spoosh Allen put some fish in the boat, said dirty oar catfishing. As soon as you say that, I was getting ready to say no, I haven't caught a fish. I gotta get my headlamp because that one rod keeps bopping. That may have a small fish on it. No, I've not caught a fish yet. I was out deeper in the river channel before it got dark, just seeing if anything was out there, but all I was seeing was the plankton bloom going on, so I'm rolling back up onto a point here. I'm still getting plankton bloom pretty thick. I'm probably going to have to go shallow, to be quite honest. I'm going to pull back into this creek to see if I can get away from it, because I'm still out here and I haven't really got tore up on the edge of this channel, so I've got a feeling maybe these fish are further back into this creek. The other day, that last day when I fished out here and finished up with like 22 fish, I had made it into the mouth of this creek. So that could be what's going on. We'll see. All you can do is keep them in the water and keep dragging them and see what the heck happens. Especially I haven't been out here and I really don't have a clue what's going on. Usually the way I do this is if I'm new out here, and this is kind of my people ask where to go, what to do. I get a lot of people message me, and don't hesitate to message me. I have no problem with that. Message me, email me. Where are the fish at? And a lot of times when I come out here on these trips, I have no clue where the fish are at. There's some seasonal stuff that will narrow them down. You know, you're certain times of the year they're not going to be shallow, they're not going to be deep. Right now, fish are pretty much about anywhere. Things are scattered. There's not a lot of concentrations of anything. You know, you get toward winter, it gets cold, fish start, you know, hanging more towards structure and stuff. They become less active. They like being around structure more. Right now, fish are all over the place. It's just a matter of what's working that particular day or week. And, you know, I always tell people to do what I'm doing tonight. You know, either start shallow and go deep or start deep and go shallow. And I've kind of started deeper and working my way back. Just this will be a good little test just to see, really test out the rod holders. That's the reason I'm out here, to make sure I got my configuration and everything. And it gives me a chance to talk to you guys. So I say a torpedo release hurts the fish. That good question there. Matthew Drake says a torpedo release hurts the fish. It's a good question. I've never killed one doing it. And I think it helps the fish. We have especially tournament fish that have been in a live well, and I will argue this, and I've done it countless times. People will, when fish gets in a live well, gets in a contained place, at first it goes crazy, you'll hear them thrashing around. Finally they realize they can't go anywhere. They give up. So they're sitting still. So you get them out, you weigh them, you go through the line, all that kind of stuff. People go ease them into the water. A lot of times the fish just sit there. And depending on what kind of state they're in and how much of a live well and how much oxygen you're getting to the fish, they may be lethargic, they may be laid over on the side. I've been many times I've taken those fish, walked down to the end of the dock where it's deep water, and don't do this in 3 feet of water, but that torpedo release head first into the water. I don't slam them in on their side or anything, but that head first thing, it seems to force air, water across their gills. They realize they're moving and they swim off. I've seen a lot of fish that were kind of in crappy shape do really good. I just believe that catfish are tough. They're one of the toughest fish in the water. And I don't advocate throwing them on their heads backwards and sideways and all that kind of stuff. But I think if you can torpedo them into the water head first, I don't think it hurts them. But like I said, I've never had one float back up. You know, most of them are just swimming off madder than hell. My fish come in fast too, just because of the way I'm set up, the line I'm using. I say line I'm using. People using heavier line than I am, and I still hear them taking 20 minutes to reel a fish in. But I mean, my biggest fish, and I haven't caught super huge ones, 60 pounds. You know, a bunch of them in the 60. About 5 minutes, about 5.5 minutes is all the time it takes, and you know they're in quick, so they're in good shape. And so I don't know. I'd love to. Maybe I can do a scientific study on one just to see. I just think catfish are resilient. I just think they're pretty tough fish. Probably the biggest thing I do that's probably not good for them is taking pictures of them and get video of them. To be perfectly honest, it's you know, they're out of the water for 2 or 3 minutes doing that. Like I said, I've never seen one not swim off, but you know, that's probably more of a bad impact on them. But who knows? Listen, if you take the time to put them in and swim them around, more power to you. That's awesome. It's not something I can really safely do on this boat. I have very high sides on this boat, and easing one down into the water, leaning over, would probably be more danger to me than it would be worth. So yeah, it's if you got time to do it and can do it, that's awesome. A lot of fish need it. You know, there's stuff like trout and stuff like that. They're a lot more delicate, and bonefish and those kind of fish, usually when they come in, they're beat down and they need that kind of care and attention. So but yeah, if you got the time to do it, more power to you, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. 52 people. That's a good crowd. Awesome. Thank you guys for dropping in as always. I always appreciate your comments and stuff. And anytime you message, leave comments in the bottom, questions. I'm pretty dang good. I'm not 100%, but by grannies, I try. I read every one of them. And I think occasionally I'll find one 2 or 3 months old that I didn't see or didn't get notified of, but I try to answer everything. And even if it's just some chit-chat talking, that's cool. I love it. I love hearing from you guys. That's what makes this whole thing work, is the interaction and engagement with everybody. Somebody asked something about planer board. With your planer board, somebody's asking, with your planer boards, do you use lights or some kind of them so you can keep an eye on them close enough so you can see them? Good question, Jeremy. No, I don't. They've actually got a little place on them to put a light stick in. I'm basically gambling tonight that I don't get one hung. You can tell on the rods. Now, you can see these really bright rods behind me. See how bright? Now, that's not a rod. That's a light pole. You see the rods? No, you can't see the rods because they're black. They need to be white, big cat fever. Did they hear me? Did they hear me? The tip of a big cat fever rod has white paint on it. Carry that brush all the way down it, all the way to the handle. You got the perfect nighttime catfish rod. I'm gonna keep digging, boys. I'm gonna get a white big cat fever rod before it's over with. Now, where was I before I went on that tirade? No, I don't have lights on the planer boards. Probably should. I'll be honest with you. If any of you follow me and have listened to me, get a sip of drink here because my jaws are jacking. There may be a little fish on that one. I'm not a big nighttime fisherman. I'm not a big fan of night fishing. I've actually been doing it more this year than I have in probably the past 10 years, and it's mainly because of you guys. I realized that this is a great time to communicate and interact with people, and people are able to watch live and they enjoy it. We don't always catch fish, but I think fishing is kind of the sideshow. I think just the interaction, learning, asking questions, that kind of stuff, it's very cool here. So that's why I'm out here fishing as much as I am now. So I should up my game. My old light pole from the tournament days used to be here. I had a big light. I need to put it back on, and I used to have lights inside here that lit stuff up all pretty when I did night tournaments and stuff, but I don't really do it anymore. So I kind of re-rigged everything. I don't know what we're going to do when it gets cold, because I'm not going to be out here when it's 22 degrees fishing at night. I say that, but I might. I may try to do something. Just it'll be one of the most miserable things in the world. But here's the one reason I will do it. The one reason, okay? The only reason. I want everybody to listen. And I want you to get a message him. Is because I know that in December, Luke at Northwoods Angling will probably have ice on his rivers up there and won't be able to get a boat in the water. So that will be my only reason to do it when it's cold, is because Luke at Northwoods Angling can't. So it's just to get a little dig in on it. He's got all the subscribers. He just can't fish in the winter. So anyway, I'm rambling. And was curious about the boards. Jeremy says he's a bank fisherman and is curious about the boards. Yeah. You bank fishermen got it tough. I give y'all credit. All the guys that bank fish, especially the ones that are hardcore serious about it and are really rigged up for it, I give y'all credit. Y'all do a heck of a job, and there's some of you that really kick some butt and are dedicated and committed to it. David Houseman out there in Tennessee, he's a hardcore bank fisherman. You'll know him from the internet because he smiles all the time in all his pictures. Just big grinny smile. And anybody that knows him knows I'm lying. He always looks like a serial killer in every picture because he never smiles, no matter how big the fish is. But yeah, bank fishing is tough. I'm blessed to have a boat. I am blessed to live close to lakes and reservoirs to where I can get in the water fairly quickly. Tonight was kind of a last minute thing. Got all this stuff done. Was able to zip down the road and put the boat in, eat dinner, come down here, put the boat in for a little bit, and try to catch a fish. And mainly try these rod holders out. So yeah, I'm lucky with what I'm able to do. So for y'all that tuned in late, I know people come in and out of here, and it's not always the same people hanging around. Fishing on Lake Wylie. I'm actually on the South Carolina side. Coming up into a creek mouth. I'm up in about 28 feet of water. I'm not seeing a lot on the sonar, to be honest. This may be one of those deals I would have had time. I would have went to the back of this creek and came out. I got a little bit delayed at the boat ramp. There were 3 old gentlemen out there that had dropped their pontoon boat in. I was in a hurry coming down, trying to go catch some bait, and they had dropped the boat in. 2 of them were on the dock. One of them's out there on the pontoon boat. They had dropped it in and just let it float, thinking they were going to start it and pull back to the dock. Well, the boat wouldn't start. So he's out there trying to start it, and I go over to him, and I'm, hey, man, you need me to pull you over there? And I said, let me see if I can get this thing going. And, you know, I said, it's firing fine. And, you know, it's fire, fuel, and air. It's one of the 3. And pumping his priming bulb, and it's like not doing anything. I'm like, dang, I said, it's just not priming. You got a hole in your line or something. And I reach over and shake the gas tank. Ain't a bit of gas in it. The can is empty. We plugged it into his other gas can and pumped it. Boom, I felt the priming bulb get hard and turned it. 2 or 3 rolled over. Boom, it started. So I got delayed getting out here. Why was I telling you that? I don't even remember. I was telling you why. Oh, because I would have rode around and looked more just to see what was going on with where the fish were, at least seeing some arches. I kind of hit this blind. It just kind of took off. Some of it was based on where I caught fish the last time. So not the smartest way to fish, but this isn't really so much about catching fish today as it was just trying these holders out, make sure this setup works for me and what I'm doing here. Let me see if there's something else in there I see. Let's see. Somebody said something about some planer boards, and I was going back to that. There was something, I thought somebody said something about, and I'm looking here, so bear with me. I know the people that watch this stuff later have no clue what's going on in the feed. So that's why I tried to reword the question. Anyway, I thought I seen somebody say something about water bugs planer boards. I've actually got 2 sets of water bug planer boards. Those are the ones I started out with striper fishing, and they're a real good planer board. They're a real good planer board for pulling light baits. They would not work doing what I'm doing, dragging sand rigs. Hang on just a second. I keep a spotlight on the boat, and hopefully it's not dead. Probably is dead. I think it is dead. Lovely. My light's dead. Anyway, I keep it to light people up whenever they start to get too close. So, but it's dead, so I'm out of luck. Oh well. Stand by for one more thing. Out of here. The one thing I always like to wear at night, my life jacket. You never know when you're going to get whopped. Now I got my headlamp. Alright, now we're back in business. Bam! Take spots or abuse fish. Let's see. But yeah, that was the thing with the planer boards that I was using with the water bugs. They're great planer boards, especially if you're dragging lighter stuff. It's just pulling these drift rigs and this heavier stuff. Need something bigger and heavier to kind of, you know, pull that weight. What happened with the water bugs was they're smaller. They basically wouldn't plane out. They would kind of suck in kind of tight to the boat. So they're good boards though, especially for pulling smaller live baits for stripers and stuff. Really good. So yeah, the thing with the boards, I'm gonna have some stuff up on my website. Dieter Melhorn Fishing is up now. I've got a gear section on there. If you're interested in some of the different stuff, I've got links on there to all the stuff that I use that you can buy on Amazon. I'm not selling it myself, it's through Amazon. But there's some stuff, the Catfish stuff that I wear, that is not my thing. Catfish with a K, that is not my brand. That is somebody else's that I partnered with. And there is a link on my website on the front page and also in the gear section to buy their stuff. Go to their website, hit that link, go to it, and you can shop through all the different stuff they've got. They've got a bunch of different shirts and hats and all kinds of stuff, so really cool stuff. But at some point, what I was getting at is the t-shirts y'all see me in this summer, I'm gonna have those available, and some of the other stuff, the planer board, some drift weight, some stuff like that. I'm just trying to get all that stuff in order to where there's some of it around before I do it. So this is not a full-time job for me. I have a regular video production company that I do full-time, and so I try to work this in and around that. But there's a lot of people asking, and I want to be able to accommodate them and help them out with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. But be sure to check out the website, DieterMelhornFishing.com, and I've got a blog on there that you can. I didn't even know what a blog was 3 weeks ago, and I've got one on there now. That's where you write stuff. So if you can imagine all this rambling I do on here talking on video, I just write it down. It's a little bit shorter though, and it's just kind of little timely different stuff on fishing. So, and some other stuff that I'll have on there. Let's see if these rods are doing anything odd. But that's if you do nothing else, you can go to DieterMelhornFishing.com and you can go to all the properties, the YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and kind of stay up on everything. I meant, and I screwed up tonight, and it just hit me. I meant to tell everybody I was coming on live. I apologize. That's something I'm going to try to do. And then what I did with the eclipse is a good example, is try to let people know in advance on Facebook and also on Instagram that I'm going to be going live. Try to give you a little bit of time. It's hard. Some people have said pick a night and do it. My wife has said do something on Sunday night. My schedule with what I do, I'm going, it's kind of erratic, so picking a night's tough. Sunday's about the best bet. Most of the time I'm home on Sunday night. So may try to do something, especially when it gets colder, maybe some kind of little 30-minute show or something like that. It would be cool. I know Catfish Weekly has their thing on Monday night. We've been trying a couple of nights to do stuff leading up to that, which I think is cool. It doesn't always work out. I know Luke's tried to go on before them or after them, so it kind of gives everybody something to do on a Monday night, and you can have some live catfishing. So anyway, let's see. God damn, learning. Oh, it's the best. I got spots taking that. What part of the lake do you fish this time of the year, Dim? Raymond asking what part of the lake do I fish. Dude, all over. These fish are everywhere on this lake. Honestly, I fish the upper half of it because it's close to the house. That's the honest to God truth. The ramp's 12 minutes from the house, and that's why I'm fishing the upper half of the lake. It's not that the fish are any better. It's just it's closer to the house. They're everywhere right now. They're pretty much scattered. Maybe not as much in the upper rivers. I haven't really ventured up there. The bad thing about our rivers in the summertime is it's very current driven. There's typically water releases in the afternoon during peak power demand, and that can affect a night bite after they shut it down. So I think fish are still there, but it's just a very current driven bite, and you got to play that on what's going on. So I really don't fish that much in the summer, but fish are everywhere. I'd say from the lower dam, pretty much 3/4 up, I think you're gonna have fish anywhere in there. I'm starting to get the little bugs now. It's getting bad. I'm gonna try to get out tomorrow, and I may be on Watery. I'm gonna try doing some pre-show, pre-tournament stuff for the Cabela's King Cat Classic. Their big event, 2-day event's gonna be down there in October, and I'm gonna try doing some stuff leading up to that, kind of to show people some stuff about the lake if they haven't fished it, and get people a little grip on what's going on. I'm not going to be able to fish it. I'm going to be working the Charlotte NASCAR races that weekend, and we've got a big production we're doing, and that's a far bigger deal than winning a catfish tournament. So I hate that. It's fun. It'd be fun to see everybody, but it is what it is. So yeah, I did forget the thermocell, Jeremy. Jeremy says, you forgot the thermocell. I did. I think it's actually in my turkey vest from turkey season, and I thought about it tonight, and I set my camper on Watery where I'm heading tomorrow, so, which this works out good. I'm getting ready to get off here anyway, so this will end up pretty good. I gave a good run of the holders. Everything worked good. I'm happy with them. I'll show you more about those tomorrow or the next day. I'll do a little thing, and I'm showing kind of what there is to them and how they look and all that kind of stuff, and how I've got them configured on my boat. I really appreciate you guys jumping in here, watching, spending some of your, special evening family time while the wife's talking to you with the earbud in one ear over here, and she's over here talking to you, and you're like, yeah, honey, he's got one, he's got a fish. Yeah, don't do that when she's talking. Just shh, between us, okay? Be our secret. And I appreciate you tuning in, guys, girls. We've got a few girls watching. I've only got a 7% female audience according to my analytics, but I'm working on that, so we'll see what will happen. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so. Make sure you check out the website, bookmark it, and follow me and like me on Facebook too, because that's how I'm going to start trying to let people know that I'm online and when I'm going to be coming online. I'm going to try to integrate that more. I'm going to try to make that a point to do that. So anyway, enjoyed it, guys. Y'all have a great evening. God bless you, and we'll see you on the water.